Dear Matt Lowne, I have a little problem. You see, I asked my Kerbal Engineers to launch a Saturn V to the moon. Only problem is, I didn't really intend for them to take the entire thing to the moon, and now I've got some stranded Kerbals. So I'm not sure if the Blunderbirds are still a thing or not, but if you wouldn't mind helping a friend out here, that'd be great.
3, 2, 1, liftoff. That's one small step for man. Contact with a test one.
Welcome to Kerbal Space Program, and like I always say, this is 50% rocket builder, 50% rocket simulator, 4,000.16% explosion factory. So what this was a collaboration with a fellow YouTuber named Matt Lowne. Matt Lowne is easily one of my favorite YouTubers. He does this series called Blunderbirds, which is where he takes other people's messed up missions in Kerbal Space Program. So say someone crashes on the moon or something, they'll reach out to him on Twitter or Reddit or something, then they'll say, hey, can you come rescue my stuff? They'll send him their save files, and then he takes that save file, uploads it to Kerbal Space Program, goes and rescues their mission. And it's a hilarious series. He's really entertaining, so definitely check that out. But this was a 3.5 hour live stream of me building a Saturn V, and like the intro says, launching it to the moon. This was with my Patreons in a live stream. So we're gonna pop back and forth between me talking about what I did and showing you the live stream of me doing it. So you'll see I'm like talking to people, and it might be a little confusing, but yeah, nevertheless, I built a full-blown Saturn V first off. Really overly detailed considering I wasn't going to be using any of the stuff except for these 5 engines at the bottom. And then I spent way too much time building the crawler portion, which I don't know if you're familiar with. NASA had the crawler that takes the vehicles from the vehicle assembly building out to the launch pad at a blistering pace of 1.6 kilometers an hour, which is 1 mile an hour for us metrically impaired. But this version's quite a bit faster, but as you might see here in a second, maybe speed isn't always a good idea when you have a 100-meter tall vehicle sitting on top. So we're gonna pop back into the original 3.5 hour live stream, which I have linked now below. If you want to watch that entire thing for some reason, you can watch it. It's unlisted, but you're gonna see me kind of talking in and out. We'll fast forward. Let's see how I did. Aim camera, control from here. Stability assist on. We're gonna also turn on the slow wheels, or like slow control mode. Nice and gentle. This is working out great now. I don't know why you guys were all so nervous. Oh, we may have some broken wheels. Confirmed. Broken wheels confirmed. Several broken wheels. Okay, it might be time for plan B. There we go. I don't know why NASA didn't do this, if I'm being honest. I feel like this is a lot more efficient way, to get your vehicle out to the launch pad. Especially when you're in a space race against the Soviet Union. Don't you want to just get there ASAP? Perfect. Just exactly where we wanted this. I actually can't believe that survived. Oh my gosh. Okay, we're taking some pictures of this thing. This is quite fantastic. This we need to put up on r/Kerbal for sure. All right, but here is where we went from it's all fun and games into just plain utterly ridiculous, because now it's time we try to get that entire thing out to the moon, which requires a very unhealthy amount of boosters. So it was time we just kept building this thing to be more and more and more absurd until we had enough power to not only lift all of this stuff, but also to get it out to the moon. And this is about the this is the definition of Kerbal Space Program to me right here. Let's see how this did. From the heart of Kerbal Space Center comes a vehicle with the brain power of Steve Jobs, the heart of Alan Goldspine, who no one knows, I made him up, and also the liver of John Denver. Comes a vehicle with more love in its life than you could ever find, unless you don't even know where it is. It's called the Moon Dad, and it's here for everyone. Unless you don't like it, then it's not here for you. It's here for everyone else, though. I hope you enjoy this. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is time to launch Moon Dad. Okay, here we go. All fingers and all toes crossed out there, internet. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, hip hip, and wait. And we have liftoff. Oh, yes. Yes. Okay, as much as I love watching something in about 1 frame per second, we definitely need to speed this up because this took way too long. But the big key here was, since this had such a terribly unaerodynamic surface, like the crawler was just a giant flat sheet of metal basically, I wanted to make sure we got plenty high before we began to pitch over into our gravity turn. Normally you wanted to start your gravity turn a lot earlier, but you'll see I waited until well after 10,000 meters to slowly pitch over. I was just nervous that this would be hard to control, so I wanted to get it out of most of the atmosphere before we even began to mess with it at all. And you can see it actually ended up working out pretty well. I surprisingly made it, it worked out really smoothly, and now you're gonna notice that I actually decided to spin the entire vehicle in order to have a clean separation of those outer boosters, since I didn't use any separatrons or anything. So 3, 2, 1, hip hip. Oh yeah. Yeah. Now we should start to eventually get some some frames per second back. Look at that. All right, and now that we have this thing pretty much on its way into orbit, we just finished up a burn, kicked itself and did a circularization burn / targeted the moon and did our maneuver all at once here on this, just to make it nice and easy. Then we turned and pointed at our maneuver node and did a nice little burn. And there is our Translunar injection. We are on our way to the moon. And obviously made it out, no problem. Now this thing took forever to flip over, so I use the engine gimbals a lot to help maneuver because I forgot to put like some really massive RCS thrusters at the base or the top, so we really only had a tiny bit of RCS at the top and the engines to gimbal with. But this is the exciting part. Let's tune in here. I want to find a nice flat spot to land. I think this rocker looks pretty flat, so let's do that. Ditching the stage, lighting up some new engines. I'm gonna turn 2 of these off so that we have a little more range in our throttle ability, because this is way too much thrust now. Okay, but we want to go strafing a little bit this way so we don't land on top of that booster. We're aiming for that rock. Nice and slow. Nice and slow for the very first time. We go right over there. Just tap it in. All right. This is looking nice. This is looking nice. Look at this. I think it's a nice flat area to safely land ourselves. I'm really feeling confident, like I'm wearing new shoes. I really feel like I've got the zest. Okay, so if I want to, I need a little bit more because I'm almost at like minimum throttle. I'm actually gonna kill one more engine. but we're still symmetrical. There we go. Now I've got a little more precise throttle control. I'm gonna try and rotate it so we are facing downhill. I think this is about downhill here. That's why it's also nice to have two engines going, because they can provide a lot of roll authority. Oh, no. Just like this. Nice and easy. On the moon. No big deal. Just like we wanted. Turn on those brakes. Try and stop. Please, please, please. We did it! We did it! We're stopped. We time warped. We did it. We actually did it. Look at this, ladies and gentlemen. A Saturn V. Oh, wow. Now that's what I'm talking about. We can dink around for a little bit. If anyone knows how to find the arch, I'm down to go take it to the arch. I don't know how you do that though. Well, and with a little bit of help from Google and a lot of help from the Patreon supporters who are watching me do this live, we realized I'm actually quite close to the arch, which is an Easter egg on the moon that the Kerbal Engineers put in. I had actually never visited any of the Easter eggs. There's Easter eggs like all over the solar system in Kerbal Space Program, and this was the first time I had ever actually been to the arch. I'd seen pictures of it and stuff. I had seen people go to it before, but I personally had never done it, and it was a lot of fun actually. So of course at this point I had gotten so far along, I took it nice and easy and gently touched down there in the moon, and I was quite excited. And now but it was of course sliding around like it always does, so I had to kind of crawl it. I wanted it to be nice and centered for the picture, and that's, ladies and gentlemen, how we ended up with a fully laden Saturn V on the surface of the moon with the crawler and everything. I had a ton of fun doing this. If you like watching Kerbal Space Program, I'll do some. If you don't like watching me play Kerbal, don't click on it. I'm going to continue to do a few Kerbal streams every now and then. And luckily, Matt Lowne already has a response video using his Blunderbirds to go and rescue my Saturn V and my crew. It is awesome. I've got a link in the description and a card up here, so definitely check that video out. Meanwhile, I owe a huge thanks to my Patreon supporters who watched me do this live. That was part of the exclusive live streams. If you want to join in some of these exclusive live streams, just head on over to patreon.com/everydayastronaut. And also, all the music in the background of this video is original music. So if you want to hear my first album, it's called Maximum Aerodynamic Pressure. It's available everywhere on iTunes, Spotify, Google Music, Amazon, all that stuff. It's also available as a playlist right here on YouTube. So if you want to check that out, you can check it out here, or you can just go to everydayastronaut.com/music for easy links to anywhere it's available. But that's gonna do it for me. I'm Tim Dodd, the Everyday Astronaut, bringing space down to Earth for everyday people.